What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Bray Wyatt teases a wrestling return again, Vince McMahon is willing to pay big for MJF, Naomi and Sasha cut all communication off with WWE, AEW stars injured, and ex-WWE star pleads not guilty to manslaughter, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. And now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at Bray Wyatt teasing a wrestling return again. Atop in today's news is Wyndham Rotunda, aka former WWE superstar Bray Wyatt's latest tease that he's ready to return to the ring. As we noted on our website, Wyatt aka Wyndham Rotunda has taken to social media on several occasions, leaving hints for fans eager to see him back in the ring after WWE released him last year. So far these hints have led to no appearances, but let's look at Rotunda's latest mystery messages. Everything good that's ever happened to me. First came a period of horrible suffering. I never ask why, I just wait for the rough part to end. I was chosen for whatever reason, and I've got shit to do. It doesn't hurt anyone, it burns. I'm ready now. Rotunda then also tweeted, "Patience, it's almost time." For some fans, the most interesting tease is that Rotunda changing his profile picture to that of a moth with a fiend mask scribbled out. What does it mean? Is Wyndham continuing the boy who cried wolf routine with the fans, or is he finally ready to return to the ring? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Vince McMahon willing to pay big for MJF. Now, a report from Pro Wrestling Torch editor Wade Keller reports that Mr. McMahon is waiting to back up the Brinks truck should MJF decide to leave AEW when its deal ends or he's able to get a release. Keller reported on a PW Torch audio program, "A source within WWE with knowledge of MJF's stature among top WWE management indicates MJF is coveted and would likely be given a lucrative contract offer. In fact, it's more than one source giving me information that with a big overlap on this, more than one source says that the treatment Cody has received by WWE on and off air has given MJF a good impression of how he'd be featured in WWE if he were to make the jump. In other words, if Cody was buried or given promises that were kept, maybe MJF would be handling this differently." Now, while some fans think Cody will be a mid-carder by next year, there's no denying he's receiving a strong push since his WrestleMania 38 debut against Seth Rollins. Keller added that the WWE is interested in MJF, regardless of his current problems with AEW management. One source in WWE told me that MJF is seen as such a commodity that his recent and tractable behavior on and off air with AEW wouldn't deter Vince McMahon from making him a lucrative offer. Although a falling out with AEW could take away considerable leverage for MJF, MJF's value to the WWE would remain high. While some might see MJF's stature as a hindrance to any kind of push in the WWE, his skill on the microphone and undeniable skill in the ring makes him an undeniable asset. Smaller wrestlers such as Rey Mysterio and The Miz have enjoyed main event success, and MJF seems like a viable candidate. Although Vince McMahon prefers big men, there are always roles for a variety of superstars. Next up is MJF appearing on Dynamite. Despite the talk of MJF and Tony Khan having some intense backstage clashes, there are rumors that he will be available for this week's edition of Dynamite and Rampage tapings, at least according to PW Insider's Mike Johnson. Several readers sent word that MJF was spotted at LAX this afternoon, so he's on the West Coast in advance of AEW's debut in LA this Wednesday at the Kia Forum and Rampage taping this Friday in Ontario, California. Or whether or not MJF shows up remains to be seen, but AEW may want to hold off on having him make an appearance at the arena if it wanted to sell the 10 powerbombs he took at Double or Nothing. MJF did a stretcher job after the bout, and we think he should have either been seen recuperating in an undisclosed medical facility or entering the arena in a wheelchair with a neck brace on. Next up, Naomi and Sasha cut all communication off with WWE. Now, there's more news to report on Naomi and Sasha Banks' walkout, and none of it is good when it comes to the former women's tag team champions returning to the company. Fightful Select had two disturbing reports on Naomi and Banks' woes, and the first is that there's been little or no talks between the wrestlers and the WWE. The second is that the WWE has cancelled travel plans for the two for the foreseeable future, a sign the company doesn't plan on them returning to the road. Another sign that suggests the WWE sees this as a long-term problem as its decision to vacate the Women's Tag Team Championship. Rumor has it that WWE were going to take a wait-and-see approach to the situation, but decided the problems wasn't going to be solved. As we discussed on our website and in recent news videos, the WWE's previously announced plans for the tag team tournament to crown a new champion appear to be on hold or either just dead. Next up, when can Naomi and Sasha leave the WWE? Now, not only are fans wondering whether Sasha and Naomi will return to the WWE, they're wondering when or both can leave the WWE should they choose to do so. This depends on how much longer that they have on their contract and whether the WWE has frozen their contracts. As far as their contracts go, you may recall Dave Meltzer's report that Naomi has about 2 months left on her contract. In fact, there were also rumors that Naomi was negotiating a new deal before she and Banks exited the WWE. As for the boss's contract, former WWE writer claims Banks' deal is up soon. If Naomi and Banks' contracts are close to expiring, the next piece of the puzzle is whether the WWE has frozen their contracts. They've frozen contracts in the past when they were unable to work due to an injury or a refusal to work. This could conceivably tie up both superstars for some time, but not if they're being suspended without pay, at least according to Fightful Select, who claims the contracts can only be frozen if the wrestlers are being paid. So are Naomi and Banks being paid? Well, Fightful Select noted Dave Meltzer's report of the two superstars not being paid during their suspension hasn't been confirmed. Next up, Adam Cole and Jeff Hardy injured? A bad news for AEW is apparently Jeff Hardy isn't the only wrestler pulled from the first June Dynamite due to an injury. According to Figure 4 Online's Brian Alvarez, it's now an 8-man, so they pulled Adam Cole. I was told that Adam Cole is also hurt, so both of the guys are hurt. They didn't just pull Adam Cole because they wanted to go from a 10-man to an 8-man. Alvarez speculated on the Wrestling Observer Live that Cole hurt his shoulder. Fans will have to wait and see how long the 2022 Owen Hart Men's Tournament winner is out of action. Hopefully not too long, as Cole has received a substantial push since debuting in AEW last year, and while AEW President Tony Khan didn't confirm what injuries are to Jeff and Adam, he did confirm the injuries in a tweet where he informed fans that the original 10-man tag team would indeed take place on this week's Dynamite, but with substitutes for the injured wrestlers. And finally, next WWE star pleads not guilty to manslaughter. Sunny's current troubles involve her case in Florida, one involving her alleged involvement in a deadly automobile crash that took the life of a 75-year-old man. According to PW Insider's Mike Johnson, Sitch appeared in court on 31st May and officially pleaded not guilty today to 1 count of DUI causing death, DUI manslaughter, a felony in the 3rd degree, 1 count of causing death while operating a vehicle with a suspended or revoked driving license, a felony in the 3rd degree, 4 counts of DUI causing injury to a person, and 3 counts of DUI causing damage to property. The Daytona Beach News Journal provided details from the police investigation into the crash, saying Sitch had a blood alcohol content of 0.280, which is 3.5 times the legal limit of 0.08 set by Florida law, police said. Police also found an unsealed bottle of vodka in her car. A test also detected THC in Sitch's blood, indicating she had been using marijuana sometime before the crash, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Sunny's latest criminal case could land her behind bars for a long time should she be found guilty. According to the aforementioned article, the charges add up to a potential 26 years in prison if convicted on all counts, and with the sentences running consecutively. There are any number of possible outcomes for this case, including Sunny prevailing at trial with a not guilty verdict to 1 or more charges, Sunny entering a guilty plea for a lesser charge, and of course, Sunny being convicted on 1 or more charges. As for sentencing, it's rare that a person who is convicted receives the maximum sentence, but it's too early in the proceedings to make any type of informed estimate. If Sunny is convicted, it's likely the deceased family would make a statement regarding what type of justice they are seeking. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.